Hey everybody, welcome to What About the Game. Today I'm going to be talking about Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Nintendo Switch. Just a quick disclaimer, this is a review of the Japanese version, which may differ slightly from the Western release. Tetris and Puyo Puyo are two of the most successful puzzle games in the world. Sure, Puyo Puyo barely makes its way out of its homeland of Japan these days, but gamers will have played it in some form or other since its conception in '91. With Sega now responsible for the Puyo Puyo series, they called in the Tetris license to smash the two franchises together. The result is a crazy, bizarre puzzle mashup bursting with personality. Conveniently for the player, on the starting menu, you can instantly choose if you want to jump straight into the action with a quick game of Tetris, Puyo Puyo, or the mental mashup of the two presented in this game. Let's start with Tetris. I feel I'm wasting my energy to talk about Tetris, seeing as it's the most well-known game in the entire world. With a random selection of 7 differently shaped tetraminos falling to the earth, you have to create lines to clear them out. The more lines you clear out at one time, up to 4, the more points you earn. The more you do this, the faster the game becomes until it's too much for you to handle and the game overwhelms you and reaches the top of the playing field. You can rotate the falling blocks 90 degrees at a time in order to fit your needs. As with the later games of Tetris, you can hold a block for later use and press up instantly to slam the current block right to the ground. It's a timeless game, almost perfection at this point. This version has the perfect difficulty curve as it gets harder as time goes on. It's not the kind that seems to go on forever, nor is it the one that gets stupidly difficult too quickly. It's got a really good balance. Puyo Puyo is a little different and most certainly the one you're least familiar with. It shares very similar mechanics to Dr. Mario, only this time without the viruses to clear. While I have much less experience with Puyo Puyo compared to Tetris, the feeling I get is that it's much more tactical than the latter. Each time, 2 randomly coloured blobs fall down together. The idea is to get 4 blobs of the same colour together in order to make them disappear. That's the basics anyway, but the real point to win it is creating combos. Make 1 blob of 4 disappear, that makes other blobs fall together to create 4 and disappear, which lets 4 more blobs fall together to disappear. It's a triple combo, and setting this up is more difficult than you think, at least for me as a beginner, but when it does happen, my god is it glorious. Especially during competitive play where it completely destroys your opponent. Then there's the mashup, a weird thing where it throws both Puyo Puyo blobs at you and then the occasional oversized Tetris blocks, which automatically throw themselves under the Puyos. So you have to create Tetris lines as well as making combos. It's by far the most difficult to get a grip on, since you really need to think of multiple things at once, but it is genuinely fun. Those are the 3 modes available from the off, but that's not the only mashup available. Once you pass through the quick start menu and into the main game menu, there's just so many different and crazy options. I just want to talk about my favourite mode. It's another Tetris Puyo Puyo mashup game. This is where there are 2 planes of gameplay, a Tetris one and a Puyo Puyo one. You begin on one of the 2, but every 20 seconds or so it switches between them. It makes multiplayer hilarious as it constantly switches between the 2. It is my favourite gameplay of them all in a game packed with so many awesome modes. Surprisingly, there is a story mode connected with this game. My copy is in Japanese. But aside from the quirkiness of a developer trying to wrangle a story out of a puzzle game mashup, I don't think I was particularly missing out on anything. There are story missions which offer varied gameplay goals with achieving up to 3 stars in each mission. It will actually take you quite a while to complete, no thanks to the surprisingly drawn out cutscenes and occasional difficulty spike. Where Puyo Puyo Tetris shines is in its couch multiplayer mode. Having friends over to compete against each other is just so fun, and the ability to have 3 other friends play with you is just great. The only problem that can be apparent is the skill level of the player. In a straight match generally, if one player is better then they will always win, but in order to combat that you can actually set up handicaps. Of course that's not the only way to play multiplayer, because there is online, and boy did I used to think I was pretty handy at Tetris. That was until I went online in this game. The handful of times I tried online with Puyo Puyo Tetris, I got my arse absolutely handed to me, and I'm not even sure what I was doing wrong to get completely annihilated. Online is not for the faint-hearted here. It's worth mentioning that I had no problem whatsoever connecting with people online. And just like the main game, there are various random modes to enjoy. Sadly, there are a few performance issues, at least with this version. Despite being a simple game and something that shouldn't really be a strain on the Switch's hardware, Puyo Puyo Tetris does freeze on occasions, right in the middle of action for no apparent reason. Yes, the game does start again after a few seconds, right where you left it, but it's still puzzling as to why this happens. It didn't happen all the time, but it really can take you out of the game. Hopefully this will be patched in the international release. Overall, Puyo Puyo Tetris is an easy puzzle party game to recommend, especially if you have friends of equal skill around. It's so much content and so many options I just can't possibly go over, and once you see all of it, you will understand the retail price. Aside from a few technical difficulties, at least in the Japanese version, it's got so much going for it. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed this review, then be sure to like and subscribe, that will help me out. You can read the full review of Puyo Puyo Tetris at whataboutthegame.com, and you can follow me on Facebook if you want to. All the links are below. Thanks guys, bye bye.